Hi, everyone. Welcome to DomainSherpa, and thank you for tuning in to the podcast with the best domain name and digital asset content in the world. Today's episode is a DomainSherpa review titled Trust But Verify Your Gut, featuring Braden, Josh, and Drew. On today's show, we play the domain game featuring untouchable.com, freetime.com, aprilfool.com, aprilfools.com, and ventures.org. And then we've got the NameJetGonnaJet segment, sponsored by NameJet, and we talk about some domains coming up for auction, including OEMparts.com, internetsales.com, energetic.org, and pickle.org. We also talk about the potential impact of the tariffs on domains and how they might also impact the macroeconomic picture in general. We also talk about how to develop gut instinct in domaining and why that's important when it comes to acquiring and selling domain names. And remember, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, you can also watch the video version at DomainSherpa.com and on our YouTube channel at ds.tv. You can also listen to the shows on Apple and Spotify and other podcast platforms as well. So please make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button and all that good stuff everywhere that you can and help DomainSherpa grow the pie. We also integrate our shows with Muse.ai, which provides search functionality for the shows and transcripts as well. So definitely check all that out. And huge shout out to DNWE, short for Domain Name Wholesale Exchange. It's a trading platform designed specifically for domain investors, streamlining the process of buying and selling domain names to make it quicker and easier. With a community of over 3,500 investors, DNWE enhances market liquidity, facilitating more efficient transactions with standard domain listings, reverse auctions, standard auctions, and soon-to-be added portfolio auctions, including traffic portfolios. DNWE is part of EW3N, a family-run digital asset investment company based in London, England, that also operates DomainManage.com, which is a global sales platform, and Brandable.uk, which is a marketplace for UK and co.uk domain names. And big shout-out to Unstoppable Domains, the only ICANN accredited registrar that lets you trade DNS domains on-chain and access crypto investors. With 3% commissions at cost renewals and hundreds of resellers soon to be integrated, they are a cutting-edge marketplace you need to know about and use to get more sales and keep your costs down. Unstoppable can save you thousands in registration costs. They have $5.com Fridays and $1.xyz Wednesdays every week, and $5 off all transfers in, no promo code required. And last but certainly not least, shout out to our own business, MediaOptions, the #1 domain brokerage in the world. Find out more at MediaOptions.com, where you can also sign up for our newsletter for the best domain opportunities available in the market every week, and also featuring key insights and other helpful information related to branding, naming, and domain investing. So with that, it's now time to get into this episode of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, a.k.a. JT, a.k.a. Jay On, a.k.a. Sherpa Winfrey, the host and producer of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a Domain Sherpa review, where we get into the minds of successful domain investors using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become more successful domain name investors ourselves. Yeah, these are the experts, the OGs, the best in the biz, my personal friends, not even guests, really. They're all co-hosts when it comes down to it. There are 4 segments to a Domain Sherpa review. We've got the grand opening. That's where I intro the Sherpas. We see what's going on with them, talk about some related things, maybe some unrelated things. It's all good. That's where we'll hit them with the AKAs. Then we got the domain game. That's where we hear about what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. Everybody guesses on the price. We keep score, and somehow, some way, someday, get some swag to the winners. Then we got NameJetGonnaJet, sponsored by NameJet, where we review a list of domains coming up for auction, see what the Sherpas like and what they don't like. And last but not least, we got GrandClosing, where we discuss anything we have not already covered, what's going on in the domain space, looking at market trends, current events, allowing our guests to mention or promote anything they want to talk about that we've not already discussed. With that, let's go ahead and introduce the Sherpas. Over to my right, got my boy Andrew Rosner, a.k.a. Morpheus, a.k.a. the Dirk Diggler Digital Assets, a.k.a. Bob Lee Swagger, the Sniper, a.k.a. Graybeard, the Domain Pirate. What's going on, man? How are you?
I am good. I'm good. I am gearing up for a little holiday. Going to see some Lenny Kravitz tonight. And you know, that's it. That's it.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz live from Lisbon on a Tuesday.
You're just gearing up on a Tuesday. People don't gear up on Tuesdays, man.
Listen,
They do. The ballers do, not the weekend.
Yeah,
warriors.
you
I
gotta-
know
you get
the
it.
ballers are, but you got to be more relatable, man. Come
Listen,
on.
You know who
That's
talks
what his
about
publicist
Tuesday?
keeps telling him, but he's like, he doesn't care.
You know who talks about Tuesday? Poor people. You
Yeah.
don't distinguish, man. Tuesday is the same as Saturday. It's the same as Thursday. It's all the same. You wake up, you grind, you have a little fun. You know what I mean? Try to make your family a little better than it was the day before. Go see a little Lenny Kravitz and you go to bed. You do the same thing the next day.
Next
Doesn't
day.
matter. Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Friday. Doesn't matter. Same shit.
Thursday, I'm in love, baby. Let's go.
If Lenny Kravitz was performing here tonight, I'd be going. I'm just saying. I've seen him before.
And
He's
see Braden.
from-
Braden look poor to you. Braden's got so much money. He's got money hanging on his wall like curtains.
Braden is the opposite of someone that looks poor. But
No doubt.
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz is from LA. He grew up here in Culver City.
I thought he was a New York guy.
I mean, maybe when he was a kid, but like he was pretty young. He was still here. His mom, I think, is still here too.
I liked him until you told me that. I thought he was a New York guy.
Oh man.
I'm gonna
Jeez.
sell my
lives there
tickets.
now.
You're making
I
judgments.
said I'm out. I'm selling my tickets.
But I mean, back in the day, like when I was in college, like we'd see him around. Like he was a local dude. Like see him like at the grocery store, kind of like.
Yeah.
Back when you were an
Yeah,
undergrad
he
at the
shops at
Fashion
the same grocery
Institute.
store as you.
This is when we were all poor.
Yo. All right. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. Shout out to Lenny Kravitz. All right, let's keep it moving. We got Josh Reason below me to the right, aka Bjorn Borg, aka Prince Harry, aka Harry Kane, aka Prince Harry Kane, aka DNX. It's dark and hell is hot, aka X gonna give it to you, aka
It's
Mr.
going to give it to you.
Stop, drop, shut it down, open up shop. What's going on, dude? How are you?
What's up? I'm good. I'm happy to be here. It's been a little while. Was expecting an invite much sooner, but it is what it is. It's all good.
I don't, you
Hold
say that, but
The boys are back.
I mean, it's like last week, you know what it was? We had like 2 weeks where we didn't do Sherpa review, where we had Paul on the show. We had Matt Berry from Escrow. We were doing like that style.
I mean,
of show.
there's an excuse for everything, but it's all good. It's all good.
Come on, man. You know what it is, man. Shit. Even we're getting flack from the homies. All right, let's keep it moving. Below me, we have the one and only Braden Pollock, aka Tony Stark, aka Benjamin Button, aka Eat, Bray, Love, aka Braden Pollockton, the Archduke of Calabasas, and the Viscount of Woodland Hills. It's not that your domain is worthless, it's just that it's worth less. You know what I'm saying? So what's up, dude? How are you?
I'm all right, man. Good to be back.
Yeah, I mean, good to be back. You guys have been like 3 weeks. Time moves so slow in the domain space. It's crazy though when when the markets are doing what they're doing. It feels like it definitely we are in. And I remember this like at various points, NFT, Web3 craziness. Whenever you have all this turmoil, the time is just you get this time distortion where it's like, oh, every day feels like it's a week or a month. And I feel like we're kind of into that mode at the moment because things are so wild. But speaking of which, how's everybody feeling? I mean, that was a question that came up on the internet. I think shout out to Michael Dooner who asked the question, like, what do you guys think the impact? Let's dive right into it. What do you guys think is the impact of potential tariffs on domain names?
People need to just chill the fuck out. Just take a deep breath, chill the fuck out, and just sit back and wait. Just sit back and wait and just watch what's going to happen. This is all people don't understand. People are like, ooh, Scott Purcell. Treasuries. First off, people think Trump made this plan. Trump didn't make this plan. Trump doesn't even know what half these words mean. Like, Scott Bessent is the Treasury Secretary. And in case everybody forgot or didn't know, like, first off, motherfucker was a Democrat. Second of all, this dude was partners. He worked for George Soros, okay? With Stanley Druckenmiller, him and Stanley Druckenmiller, two of the absolute unequivocal top macro investors of all time ever. Okay. These guys single-handedly broke the Bank of England by forcing the Bank of England to fucking basically let the bond market go in order to fucking protect the currency. Okay. These guys put, basically an enormous amount of pressure through a very calculated bet that forced the bond, the Bank of England to cover a bluff. Okay. And so, this is literally one of the most intelligent people in the world of finance globally. This is one of the very few people that understands the plumbing of the global financial system in ways that the cumulative audience of this show will never know how much he forgot yesterday. So, like, everybody needs to chill the fuck out and understand that there actually is an adult steering the ship, and he knows exactly what the fuck he's doing. One thing that I've actually come to understand, and I don't claim to be like some expert on debt markets, but I am intrigued enough that I spend an awful lot of time reading about it and understanding it and looking back historically at how things react to various, confluence of events. And what I can tell you for sure is that most people don't know how to prioritize. Okay. So they look at everything in a very linear way. And so they look at the world and they go, oh my God, 25% tariff here, 34%. And they just start freaking out. Oh my God, my cars are going to go up 34%. Oh my God. And they just start freaking the fuck out. And they don't even understand what any of this shit means. Okay. But actually what it means, first off, most of these products are already being tariffed anyways. Okay. In other various forms. Yes, for sure. Some prices are going to go up on certain things. Most of the things that prices are going to go up on are things we probably shouldn't be consuming or we should be consuming less of. So, in my personal opinion, all these people who want the world to be green should shut the fuck up and be grateful that we're tariffing shit that's coming in from countries that we've exported our pollution to. Okay, because all we're doing is saying, we are going to regulate this shit. Look, we are not going to burn coal anymore. But we're also going to stop manufacturing. We're going to send all our manufacturing to China where they're going to burn dirty coal instead of our clean coal. And Germany's not going to build anything with clean coal or energy. They're going to export that shit to India and China, Vietnam, where there's no regulation and people can create the same exact shit for less cost because there's no regulation, and they dump all the pollutants into the ocean, into the rivers, into the sea, into the sky, okay, or into your fucking food. So, but let's just get back to the main point. The main point is priorities. And at the top of the pyramid of priorities is bond rates. And the reason that that's the number one priority above all else, including the cost of your goddamn eggs, is because the American government is literally on the verge of not defaulting, but basically being insolvent. Okay.
Unsustainable.
It won't default because it'll just print money. But believe me, the last thing on earth you want is the government printing 30, 40% of its GDP in new dollars in order to pay the interest on the debt to places like China or Saudi Arabia, or the Federal Reserve. What you don't want is that, because that means the end of America. That means that your quality of life goes from a very slow decline that we've been on to an exceedingly steep decline because your dollars don't purchase anything anymore. And that is what real inflation is. Real inflation, what is the quote? Inflation is and always it is always a monetary, I don't know, I'm messing up the quote. But anyways, basically, the only way inflation happens, inflation isn't from tariffs. Inflation is always, which is where the derivative of the word comes from inflating the monetary supply. When the money supply goes up and the number of goods and services stays the same or goes down, you get inflation because you have more money chasing the same amount of goods and services. Okay. This is a multi-step process. We need tariffs. It's not even there maybe was other ways of going about it, but those have been tried. The diplomatic things have been tried. Nobody's making progress over the last, you could go back, you can look at it. You can see Bush talking about it. You can see Clinton talking about it. You can see Obama talking about it. The only one that didn't want is Biden. Biden's like, oh, let's just destroy America and let's make everything in China. Let's make China own America. So, anyways, every single president has attempted something along these lines. Trump is just saying, look, our back's against the wall. And he's going, and when I say Trump, it's really Bessent, Lutnick to a lesser extent. But they are going to force a global realignment of trade. They're going to force new trade agreements with every country in the world so that America is getting a better deal, period. Full stop. Now, that, like I said, will have some price impacts in certain things on a semi-temporary basis, okay? But that is going to be way offset by the fact that if they can accomplish what they're setting out to do, which it seems like they are, we had the bond rate at 4.8%, came all the way down to 3.9, then it came down yesterday morning to 3.5, and now it's gone back up, which I actually don't understand why, but the 10-year rate is gone from 4.8 down to 3.5, now back up to around 4. The initial move from 4.8 down to 3.9, that move alone, okay, just for all the freaking morons out there that are so upset about this, that move alone, just getting the interest rate from 4.8 to 3.9 saved America $150 billion in interest expense in 1 week. Just that move. The goal is to get it down to, let's say, 3.5. If they could get it down to 3.5 rapidly, the Fed is going to do the rest of the work. They're going to be forced to cut rates themselves. You're going to see a massive amount of liquidity come into the market. You're going to see the administration cut taxes on everybody that's earning $150,000 or less and everybody that's on Social Security, which is so logical. And like my parents on Social Security, they get a check and then they pay taxes back to the government on that Social Security. Like, what world does that make any sense? It's like, that's ass backwards. So anyways, the quality of life for the people who inflation actually matters, their quality of life is going to increase significantly above the minor inflation on mostly voluntary purchase goods. These are not, goods that are necessary. And the tax savings are going to far exceed whatever extra you're paying for your dozen eggs. Okay. And then secondly, if we can
so
do
that was
that,
that was just the first point.
If we can do those with point 1 and point 2. Point 1 is tariffs, right? Because we need to get the interest rate down. Once we accomplish that, then we can use those savings to allow for the tax credit of Americans who are at $150,000 or less and Social Security. This is huge. People are like, they just ignore this. Like, I don't think people understand what a big impact that will have on the quality of life of most Americans. That one thing alone, enormous. Like, wow, you're free. What you earn is yours, up to 150 grand. That is, to me, like, wow, that's really an American dream. Okay. Third, if we can do all of those things and we can raise, let's say, $500 billion to $1 trillion in revenue from tariffs, we can cut $500 billion to $1 trillion in fraud, waste, and abuse, which seems like that's going to be a layup. We actually have a shot. And if we can roll over the $9 trillion in debt that America needs to refinance, this is the thing nobody understands. We need to refinance $9 trillion in debt in the next 9 months. And I've yet to see anybody explain to me how we're going to do that with rates at 5% or 4%. You can't do it. This debt was taken out when interest rates were zero. You can't roll it over at 4 or 5% because you're going to literally, the interest expense will be $3 trillion a year. Our interest expense, just paying interest, will be double what we spend or triple what we spend in defense. It'll be double what we spend in Medicare and Social Security. In what world is that okay? If you think that's okay, like, you should move to China where they have communism and it'll be great for you. You will thoroughly enjoy it. But that world in which the government is printing all the money to pay all this stuff, that's a world that becomes totalitarian, communist. Everything you do is going to be dictated. Okay, because without complete control, that train goes off the tracks. So that becomes a complete control world. So number one priority above all else, I don't give a shit about any of your personal problems. Number one problem for America as a collective is getting the interest rate down so that it can roll over its debt. If we don't do that, all the other stuff doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I can't emphasize that enough.
Nope,
So
I think it's,
anyways,
yep.
that's the story on tariffs. Everything else is narrative. Nothing else matters. The only thing you need to watch is the bond market. And hopefully we're going to get the bond market to stay happy and keep gradually falling or rapidly falling. Rapidly probably means we're, creating a little more economic dislodging than maybe necessary. But I don't think that even really matters relative to the priority of getting that interest rate down. So that's the story. That's the only story that matters. Watch the bond rate. Ideally, we get that down to 3.5, 3, and then in the next days or weeks, the Fed comes in. They have an emergency rate cut, probably by 75 basis points, and now we're in the twos, and now we can start rolling over some of that debt. Now we can start issuing some longer duration debt. Now maybe we introduce some stablecoin regulation that's backed by a 50-year treasury note. There's an idea. Get interest rates down into the twos or even below that and issue some very long maturity debt that's backing stablecoins. And guess what? Nobody will give a shit because they're not sitting on the stablecoin as a way of earning an interest. They're sitting on the stablecoin for convenience and for trade purposes and for all sorts of other things that nobody really cares whether it's a 50-year note at 2%. And so if we can introduce, by the way, that would basically be the government issuing money that wasn't issued by the Fed. That's a whole nother story that we only get into to make your heads explode today. But these are all very positive things. Like I literally couldn't give a shit, Republican, Democrat. If this was Obama doing it, I would say, holy shit, brilliant strategy. Now, I'm not saying this is all going to work, but the path we were on was certain death. And this is a path that, to me, if they can execute, which, again, I look at the data. The data is the bond market. So far, the data looks like it's working, okay? So if they can execute this strategy effectively and they can knock all three rungs of the stool out, what you're going to see is an unbelievable bull market and prosperity for American companies and most American people starting in 3 to 6 months and lasting for quite a long time.
Yes, and that would be good for domains. And I believe the quote that you had referred to was inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. Shout out to Milton Friedman. And yeah, look, I think a lot of what you're saying makes sense. I think without question, we're carrying way too much debt and the rates are too high to be able to do anything with it. In fact, the debt service would just be pretty untenable. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, in the meantime, it's definitely some pain, at least in the short term, but I think that the idea that it's ultimately will be bullish for domains is good. Josh, Braden, thoughts?
I agree.
Because remember, we're on a show. You guys are like,
I agree.
All right. Do you guys have? But
I'd
seriously,
be like Trump. Be like, I just think that's a personal question. I like all the Bible passages and Old Testament, New Testament. I like them both equally. I think. Yeah, I like them both equally. He doesn't even know what a Bible looks like. He's never read the Bible.
Josh.
I think that Michael Duna, you deserve to pay for this show because of all of that information that you just acquired for the first 35 minutes.
Well, and I think the cool thing, or no, look, it's obviously very insightful, and I think it's worth mentioning that when Drew was, dropping some insults in the beginning, it was not at Michael, but at the pundits who are belly aching about all the tariffs, right?
Yes, that was not directed at Michael. In fact, I even forgot that the whole thing was premised on Michael's question. But I am directing a little bit of hate and a little bit of little jab at all of the people who are literally just shouting out of pocket without knowing a goddamn thing about how debt works, without knowing anything about sovereign debt, without knowing anything about how actual global trade works, without understanding that these are negotiation tactics. This is not, oh, we're setting these tariffs and this is permanent. Like, look, I don't even care about the politics anymore. I don't even think this is a political thing. This is a geopolitical thing. It doesn't matter Republicans or Democrats, and none of that shit matters. This is literally about our children's future. This is about the future of a country. This is literally about the future prosperity of a country. And honestly, like, I don't know. I think everybody needs to suck it up and shut up and just let the administration do what it's trying to do. It has told you exactly what the plan is. Let them execute it and let's see what happens. To me, this seems like an actually really intelligent and strategic plan. If they can execute it effectively, I think every single person, young, old, Chinese, gay, black, I don't give a fuck who you are, you're going to benefit. So, and if anything, to be honest, it's the people who are rich that are going to benefit the least. Now, maybe in the long term, they benefit, but in the short term, the people that are going to benefit the most are actually your average American. And so I actually think that this is a very good strategy that and I don't wholeheartedly support much of anything in the world, but I really believe that given where we're at, the circumstances, I think this is actually the best possible strategy to go forward and create a better future for America and Americans. I really do.
Yeah. I'm with it, man. I hope that there are adults in the room. I mean, obviously, we have some very seasoned, intelligent people in the mix. It's tough. You get mixed sort of reports about, well, the plan was this, but then it became this, or it's this, or Trump's doing that. Like, there is a lot of the political sort of overflow that creates a lot of noise around this stuff, and
that's just because you're listening to mainstream media. Like, I can't help you.
I don't listen to mainstream. I'm just saying, I'm on X, man. I'm on X. I don't watch mainstream. I don't consume mainstream media. I'm just getting I get my both sides, like we
listen. I don't give a shit about which side. Mainstream media is on both sides. If you're listening to mainstream media post-COVID, then like, again,
I just follow the same people that you follow. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
stupid. You're literally stupid. You're literally ignorant. Now, if you do it with the intention of this is entertainment, and I love watching talking heads make fool of themselves, then God bless, get your popcorn. But if you actually watch the news and think I'm watching news and I'm not watching editorial commentary from extraordinarily biased people that have been selected to be at the far extreme of either side in order to stoke emotional response, in order to generate more viewing minutes, in order to generate more ad dollars, that's the only purpose of mainstream media. And if you don't understand that, again, you're fucking stupid and you should go do something about that. You should say, oh shit, this dude just told me I'm stupid, but actually I do all the things he said I do. So maybe I am stupid and I should go do something about it. I'm going to go learn about macroeconomics. I'm going to go read a biography about Scott Bessent. I'm going to go find out what happened in all of the other trade wars. And go educate yourself.
Wise words. Let's get into some domains. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk some domain talk.
So this
boy.
all dovetails right into domains
I
because
know
what's
it does. That was the
happening
whole
here
point of the initial question.
is we're in phase one. We're in the pain. Okay. There needs to be pain. There needs to be pain because it's a negotiation tactic, and you need to create pain so that everybody else shows up at the table, which seems to be happening. EU bending the knee. Israel bend the knee. Vietnam bend the knee, right? Everybody's bending the knee. Thailand bend the knee. Everybody's lining up to bend the knee. Now, the only one that actually matters is China, and that'll obviously be last. But obviously it's working because everybody's lining up to bend the knee and bond rates are coming down. So I would say 10 out of 10 working. And what's going to happen is once we get past this period and the Fed cuts rates and liquidity starts coming into the markets, listen to me. We're going to be back in that May 2021 when Bored Apes launched, and it was basically all up all the time on all assets. Okay. And that includes domains, that includes crypto, might even be NFTs again. Who knows? But all of this is going to be very good for domains because you're going to see massive capital flowing out of China because of currency controls. Okay. I think we are actually setting up on the Chinese side. I think we're actually setting up to see a repeat of what we saw in 2014, 15, 16, when the Chinese were just buying up, that's when the chips, the 4-letter.coms
Yeah,
were
dude. The
basically
wave, man.
trading at,
100%.
very stable prices. They became basically fungible. 3-letter.coms, 2-letter, all this stuff. I think we're actually setting up for exactly that. Because what the United
just
States
with
is
.ai
doing.
this time instead of .com.
What?
Just with
Same.
.ai this time instead of .com.
No, highly unlikely. Highly unlikely.
I'm joking. I'm just joking.
Highly unlikely. But no, just watch the currency peg between the yuan and the dollar. And if that starts to decouple, you're going to see massive outflows of capital. Going through every rat hole it can find to get out of China and into any asset class it can that can be sold in a foreign currency. So I think we're setting up for a really, really big Q2, Q3.
Yeah, just on some throwback, right? This was the app back at that time where the different buckets of inventory, fueled by China. This was the app that you could get on the iPhone that literally broke down the different buckets of inventory.
I didn't even know there was an app. I was doing all that shit with no app.
Yeah, this was at the end of 15, early 16 was when this thing was available. And it basically had the floor prices, the current up, down. I mean, it's basically the stocks app, but with domain buckets based off of all those, those
I
different
didn't know
groupings.
about that either.
Oh, see, y'all needed to get hip to that back in the day. That was a fun time in domaining. It was really cool. And
it was. I'm not even, I'm not going to go so far as like I'm predicting that to happen again because I feel like that was so wild. Like, I don't know if it can happen twice, but the conditions are setting up for something like that. Now, it could be that the money's flowing not into domains this time, it's going into crypto or it's going into whatever, but most likely it will go into crypto because it's more liquid. It's, but
yeah, well, and yeah, and
the
then
conditions are setting up for a very good environment to be selling domains. And I'm very optimistic, even though in the short term, yes, deals are going to get a little more friction. Yes, some things might fall through. Yes, people are going to have a hard time making decisions on big purchases because there's so much economic uncertainty. But I think that we're going to see basically a V-shaped recovery. I think it could even be today, tomorrow, this week, where we actually are seeing the bottom. I think, markets are opening up today. I think they'll probably close down is my guess. And I think we're there or we're close to a bottom. And then I think as soon as you see the Fed cut rates and liquidity enter, I think we're going to see a massive bull market in crypto and in domains and in everything. I think it's just going to be, liquidity bazooka. There's a lot of debt that needs to be rolled. There's a lot of, potentially China dumping their treasuries. That needs to be absorbed by the Fed. So there's a lot of play here, and all of it points to massive easing of financial conditions, massive liquidity entering markets, China getting very restrictive on capital flows. All of that points to super positive for Western assets and particularly shit like stocks, technology stocks, domain names and crypto.
Sure. Well, even if you just see
Bitcoin.
Well, and even if you just see a drop in rates in general, right? Because then, people will have to start getting a little bit more, risk on, right? I mean, because then your money's not going to earn 4, 5, 6% just by sitting there in the bank. Now you've got to get active, right? And when you talk about additional liquidity, and now people are going to be investing and buying in, all the everything, everything, everywhere, all at once. So, yeah. So, well, hey, let's hope that that's the way it plays out. Let's hope that sausage getting made is not always the prettiest process. So I think there is definitely something to be said for that, and we shall see.
Well, it's also, especially if you're trying to make sausage out of a freaking cow that just got hit by a fucking 16-wheeler. You know what I'm saying? If you got some roadkill, which is basically what the American society and from a macroeconomic standpoint it was basically roadkill. If that's what you're starting from, yeah, it's gonna be a messy sausage.
Yeah, but sausage all the same. So anyway,
that shit's gonna sizzle when you get
it. Although Braden's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Vegan sausage is made completely differently.
Made out of vegetables. I don't know.
So, all right, well, let's get into the domain game. Unless you guys have any other thoughts or comments, Josh, Braden, you guys just want to talk at all?
Let's get into it.
Do we get to talk?
For what it's worth, by the way, for those of you who are listening and not watching, before I was holding up a screenshot of the old domain app, or that was out of China during the big wave when all the different buckets of domains, 3-character, 4-character .coms, 5-character numerics, all had a baseline floor price that day that would go up and down based on market activity at the various marketplaces and things like that. So pretty cool to think back to that time. I mean, almost 10 years ago. It's pretty wild that that's how long ago it was.
It was exactly 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like literally that transition from 14 into 15. It lasted all of 15 and it sputtered out at the beginning of 16. So it was literally exactly 10 years ago.
Yeah. So it's an interesting timing thing. And so, yeah. All right. Well, it's a decade later. And it just feels like when they started the show, actually.
Just for shits and giggles, I'm going to go back. I want to see what kind of emails was I getting on this day in 2015. Let's see.
All right. Or
we could move with this.
I mean, look, keep moving. I'm just curious. I bet
we're gonna do the domain game. It actually starts with you because you're the upper right. So
domain game,
Drew. You know what? Seriously, you have this infrastructure with this show. You should do another podcast where, like, I don't know, call it World According to Drew or some shit. And then you could just talk about politics and your thoughts and.
Well, but this is the problem, is you should be interested in this. This is what ultimately drives the market, the domain market, the most. Everything else is narrative. It really is. The only thing that really matters in the world is global liquidity. And when that rises, good for domains, good for Bitcoin, good for stocks, good for your house price, good for everything. When it's falling, bad for everything. And so it matters. And I sincerely wish more people paid attention. I sincerely wish people took the time to understand this stuff, even at a high level, because most of the narrative that you hear and that people make decisions on is wrong. It's literally flat wrong. And people make poor judgment decisions. They sell things when they shouldn't. They discount when they shouldn't. And it goes the other way too. But look, this is an educational show, and I hear you. I understand some people get upset or turned off because I go on the rant, but I think it's important. I really do. I think it's important. I wish more people understood it. And so I try to interject with a little bit of little knowledge, and I try to make it, I'm aggressive because if I tell you you're retarded and you're stupid, maybe you're going to pay attention and be like, well, what's this fool talking about? So I'm not trying to be insulting, but I do want to slap people around a little bit and be like, wake up. Wake up.
Hey, you're passionate, man. We appreciate the passion. All right. Well, so give us a buy or sell that you're passionate about so that we can see what everybody thinks that the number was, and then we'll go from there. But I do think big picture, it is important. And it is why the question was asked, and it is why we addressed it. And yeah, so all good.
I'm just buying names right now on DNX.
Love it.
That's what I'm doing.
Love it.
Well,
That's what we're
DNX,
talking
baby.
about. That's why I should just keep talking so you buy more names.
Yeah, it's a funny thing is it's actually one of Merlin's names. He's got underpriced. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, Merlin.
You've had it for over 10 years.
Oh, no, I know what you're buying.
And it's about to move over to your side of the ledger.
What, do you see it? Is it?
Does it begin with P?
It does, yeah.
Oh, Josh. Josh is speaking of P, he's on the pulse. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, Josh knows. Josh knows.
I guess I can say what it is because I'm buying it. So, I don't know.
I'll say, yeah.
You could use it as your
Purchase
buy,
will be
except
done
Josh
by
will
the
tell
time
you
this is done.
Wait, what?
Okay. Let's go with a buy.
Error. Why is there an error, Josh?
Oh,
This is in real time.
Yeah.
Click through it again.
I'm doing it right now.
Log into wherever you were purchasing it from, wherever it forwarded to, and then go back to DNX and click again. It's got to get resolved somehow, though.
Yeah, just give me an error again.
Just do it through the.
Okay, I'm logged in. Let me go back to.
Oh, is it doing a 40? Is it doing a 404?
No, it just says error process. Who knows? Maybe it's my credit card. Right, I'm going back.
Tapped out this month.
What's that?
You tapped out this month? Too much buying?
Tapped out while Drew was doing all the talking.
All right. Listen. We're going with a buy.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Untouchable.com.
Untouchable.
Oh, wow. It's kind of like unstoppable, but untouchable.
Can't touch this.
Can't touch this. The music hits me so hard.
If I watch the company on untouchable.com, it's literally 100%. I would get MC Hammer. Is he alive?
Yeah, man. He's doing his thing.
I bet you hire him for like $1,000.
MC Hammer's a G, man. When all the stories about him, everyone's like, people get it twisted because he's like, with the hammer pants and all the sequin stuff when he was into that can't touch this, era. But he is like, he's a G, man. He's legit. So shout out to MC.
I didn't say he wasn't legit, but I mean, I ain't seen him at the Clearport. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I haven't heard any new MC Hammer music in a minute.
Same cases, Braden? We got the same case.
No, like mine does this.
Oh, okay.
Well, I like that.
It is actually pretty cool.
Where do you get that? What's that called?
This is it's actually a pretty dope case. It's called
I just ordered the new iPhone 16 today. I haven't bought the last 3 generations.
Same.
I stepped up today.
Same. Did exactly the same. I got the new one just the other day, and I haven't bought
that thing on the back.
This is the new one, the large one. Here's the.
I have that.
TORRAS.
Taurus. Okay.
Yeah, it's a quality case.
All right, hey guys, put your numbers up. All right, Josh is at 22,388. Braden is now changing his number based on Josh's number.
No, I'm not. It just because I was messing with it. I can show you what it says, but it's like it's 45,000. But you see what happened?
Oh yeah, look at all that. So 45,000. Josh.
I don't know how.
Josh, you also got some profile views. All right, 45,000 for Braden, Josh is at 22,388. I cannot bet because I know what it sold for, what we bought it for, so I know also who won the point. Go ahead, Drew.
Braden won. The price was 43.
Oh,
Damn.
I feel like Braden may have been offered this domain name prior to my purchase.
of course, but yeah. No, I definitely was, but it was much higher. That it was a higher price.
Yeah.
It was brought to me at 55,000.
You know, what I really like about this name is, untouchable is cool. It's like unstoppable, unbeatable. You know, it's got like a very positive, strong connotation, but I also love it for like a hands-free kind of situation, untouchable and some kind of a hands-free deal.
I mean, I like it for a lot of things, like, any form of insurance, protection, security.
iPhone cases, right? No.
Yeah, phone I mean, just everything, like hands off, hands free, just a flex, just all sorts of stuff.
So what do you now try to sell it for?
I think Untouchable is a 500 to 750 type of name.
Boys, what do you guys think?
I mean, you're not going to sell it at 750 if you got it priced at 500.
I didn't price it for 500. That's probably whoever I bought it from.
Really?
I don't know. I think that's a little high.
They need to take it off GoDaddy. I agree with Braden.
I think it's like a 350 to 400 name. Which is still fine. You still bought it fine, right? But I just don't think I don't think it's a mid to high 6-figure name. It's just too. It's a good meaning, but it's a little too long and too clunky to be that high. But I'm not talking shit. I like the name.
Yeah,
I mean, not too.
yeah.
yeah, that's cool. Whatever. You just hating on my stuff. It's all good.
Not no.
All right, cool. Well, Braden gets the point. We got to get it pulled off after Nick. So I'll make a note about that for post show. All right, cool. Josh,
let me ask a couple questions. I have to ask.
Please.
You're not concerned at all about current usage from that brand, Drew? Like because that feels like it's 100% based on gut and the fact that it is a cool name, but there isn't a lot. There's like no usage, 0, pretty much.
Which, when you see that, that's a barbell strategy. So obviously it's low hanging fruit if there's a ton of usage and you've got out of the gate a bunch of potential buyers. But on the other end of the barbell is the clean slate argument, which is that, okay, this is actually not something that's been trampled on. There's not a lot of confusion in the marketplace because of the namespace. And I can actually go build a blue ocean, right? And so, it's interesting. I think that what you trade off in that space is with that barbell strategy is, on the one hand, you've got a faster sale. You're going to turn it over quickly. Most likely you're going to turn it over quicker. You're going to get a good return, but you're probably going to pay a higher price to get the name. And on this side, I think that there's just more alpha if you're willing to hold the name longer and wait for the right opportunity, because the big buyer wants that open field, that blue ocean. They want to be able to come in and own that namespace. And so I agree with you. It's not an obvious low-hanging fruit. It's not a quick flip by any stretch, but I think it is a really cool name that has really good multiple industry, commercial, use cases. And, I don't know. I like it. I just want, it's 100% what you said. It's gut, it's instinct. It's just sometimes a name resonates for me and I don't really care what the numbers say. I don't really care what the adoption looks like. If the name resonates, it's like, I know eventually I'm gonna, get a win there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good example.
I think it's an interesting topic too, because I do both, right? There's instinct and there's stats, and sometimes the stats don't support how I feel about the name, and there is this kind of like open field perspective, like, well, nobody's using it, so go to town.
Yeah.
Easier to get the trademark, probably easier to pick up multiple extensions. You don't have confusion in the marketplace. But on the other hand, the stats will say, well, like nobody likes this brand. So and I think for the new investor, that's really a tough call. It's hard. It really takes a lot of experience buying names and selling names, seeing what sells in the marketplace, not just what you sell, right? But you should read what sells every day and get a feel. You can create a gut instinct. I did. Like when I first got into it, and people were like, well, kind of, it's a kind of a gut instinct what things, because I was like, how do you buy a name? People are like, it's a gut. I'm like, well, I don't have that. So how do I develop that? And so I just looked at sales every day. I would go to the auctions, the live auctions at the conferences, and literally write down what everything sold for.
100%. I did do the same.
Guess if it was wholesale or retail.
And I also went through literally line by line Ron's DM Journal report every week, and I go line by line looking at all the names that sold, even the small ones. I go see who bought it, try to understand why would they buy this, why did it sell for a certain price. I try to compare it to like sales and see, all right, was it a bigger company that bought the other one that sold for higher, or was it just somebody that priced it wrong? Right. And that's it. I mean, that's the only way to develop your gut.
Right. I mean, it just, if you just hope it's going to come, it's going to take you forever. Like you need to supercharge that.
More importantly, not only is it going to take you forever, but you're not going to know it when it comes.
True. And I think the biggest problem when you're studying sales is it wholesale or retail. You got two entirely different markets, right? And that's really a problem because it's hard to know. But if you see like where it's sold, you can kind of figure out. You look up who the buyer was, see if it's an end user, if it just ended up with an investor, if it's back on a lander, it's an investor. Back on a lander at a higher price. So you really have to determine: did it sell into the wholesale market, or was it an end user buy? Right, and that's how you can kind of develop that gut. But that's the biggest problem in developing that gut is and learning what the values are. Is you have two different valuations.
Developing the gut. I like that. I think that's important, and I think you're right. I mean, I think when spend decades,
domain microbiome.
But when you spend time, we used to watch the domain auctions obviously so closely every day. We would, have even like in-house bets about, hey, which name is going to be the higher selling name of multiple big names that might be closing in a day or whatever. Like, you're hyper focused on results and seeing what's happening at different marketplaces and seeing what's happening with different domain extensions. And, like we talked about the China wave, seeing what's happening with different buckets of domains on a daily basis to know, hey, you have this opportunity to buy 50 4character.coms, having some sense quickly what that floor is currently looking like to know, is this a good deal or not, right? And a lot of times too, because you're buying names that are being shopped around, sometimes those windows are short and small, and you've got to have some ability to be able to take advantage of those without putting yourself in a position where you're going to lose a bunch of money. So developing your gut, I think it's key. And for what it's worth, I think maybe Braden, when you were on Andrew Alleman's podcast, this was a little bit of action I saw on Twitter or on X, talking about how, there are a lot of, this is what DomainSherpa provides, right? This is what some of the, Andrew, the Domain Name Wire blog, the Domain Name Wire, podcast, Elliot Silver, Name Bio, Domain Academy, like, the tools that are free or pretty cheap to learn what domain values really look like, where those opportunities are. One of the things that Josh is extremely good at, he understands the market better than almost everybody in the space, right? Based on, a combination of data and gut feel, So I think that's a great topic. That was really good, guys. I like that a lot. All right, so let's keep it moving. Josh, it is on you with the domain game. Do you have a buy or a sell, or what's good?
I've been talking. I always tell you guys about all my stuff. So then it come on the show, and I haven't got so much to talk about. But I can do like a buy from earlier this year that I don't think I told anyone. Like I'm pretty sure I didn't tell anyone about, or I definitely didn't reveal the price. So well, tell me if I'm wrong. Freetime.com.
Well, it's a great name,
Freetime.com.
Nope.
Freetime.com?
Yeah.
Love that. All right. No. Let me all right, boys, let's get it. Let's put in so free time. So this was a buy or a sell?
Bye.
Oh, this is a buy. So freetime.com. All right. Drew.
Sorry, wait, what is it?
Freetime.com.
Free
was a buy.
time?
Freetime.com.
It was a
Free.
buy.
Like leisure time, free time.
Yeah.
That's right.
Freetime.com. That's a great. Is a buy? Okay.
All right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Turn it. All right. Okay. Braden's at 15.
Oh, I got sandwiched.
Sandwich. Braden's 15,000. Drew is $22,369, and I'm at $25,000. We're all in a nice little bunch. Josh, who's the winner?
Drew.
Whoa!
20?
20.
I had 30, 25, 20, and then back to 25.
So what was it?
20.
20.
20.
Great domain.
So great domain. Great domain.
Thanks.
How much
like
was it sell to me for?
You keep trying. When was the last time I've sold to you, man? This is not 2018 anymore.
You know, the domain industry is not what it used to be. You know, all you young bucks, you know, you used to do the work, you go find names, and then you sell them to me, and you know, you take a little cut, and everybody was happy. But now everybody got greedy. Now everybody wants to, you know, milk these names for the maximum value.
Maximum
Like-
extraction.
Yeah, maximum
Everyone's just got to
extraction.
stay in their own lane, right, Drew? Stay in your
Stay in
lane.
your lane. Know your role.
Stay in your lane. Yeah, but no.
I remember when you started saying that to Andy because
Oh
he was
man, that's when Andy and I had a big blowout because he took. That's exactly what happened. Years and years and years. My best names came from Andy, and then all of a sudden Andy was like, "You know what? I'm going to start keeping these domains." And he went from being my number one, basically business partner, to being my primary competitor overnight. And it was like, know your role. You were happy. I was happy. The
He's
world
still
was
selling
good.
it. He's still selling it.
I know.
I just
No, look. I mean, look. I can't blame him. He started making a lot more money once he started holding on to the names.
he's still flipping. I just bought a name from him last week.
Well, that's only because he got distracted. Now he buys stupid names like .ai.
Oh man.
No, but he's still, you know, he
still buys some
flipping.
good coins. Yeah.
Now he sells his best names to fund the renewals of his expensive hobby.
Dude.
That's not entirely untrue.
It's not entirely untrue.
But I think it's also a little bit like, you know.
Look, again, I got mad respect. Andy, I literally think Andy is like, if I were to create my own domain hall of fame, Andy's way up there. But he's the greatest domain
Picker.
Yeah, he's the picker, like the
He
you know,
knows.
and the way you pick apples, you know what I'm saying? He knows how to shake the tree. Nobody can shake the tree like a Booth. But you know,
That Booth blood is something else.
that Booth blood. I mean, Mama Booth, forget about the two degenerate sons. You know what I'm saying? We gotta put Mama Booth in the Hall of Fame.
Right, let's get her up on this Sherpa.
Exactly, like 100%. Let's put that on the docket. Let's get Mama Booth on Sherpa.
Mama Booth. Hey, big shout out to Andy, big shout out to James, and big shout out to Mama Booth.
We love all of
Find
you.
out.
Untouchable, by the way. Shout out James. That name came from you.
Yeah, there we go. See, look at that.
Giving credit where credit's due.
Credits due. That name came from you. All right.
Well, the
Well,
only
good
reason
stuff.
he sold it to me is because he was like, "Oh, look, there's no usage, so I'll sell it to Drew."
Exactly. He's like, it's been picked over. I can't sell it easy for a big money. I'll just sell it to Drew. He'll take it. All right. Let's see. So right now, who got the first point?
I did.
Untouchable. All right. So Braden's got a point. Drew's got a point. Now we're up to Braden having to put a name on the table. If Drew gets this, he gets the win.
That's it.
All right. Josh, you see my text?
No, should I?
Yeah, go ahead. All right.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to give you some. I'm going to give you some options. Okay.
Love it.
All right.
I sold a dot capital. Believe it or not.
Wow.
So
Okay.
there's one. A weird one. A one word .com. Not a big one. And then I sold the set, but I talked about it a little bit. AprilFools.com and AprilFool.com sold on April 1st.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I mean, let's talk. I don't know. Did you talk about the price? I didn't see anything about the price.
I thought I saw a price out there, but I don't remember.
All right, well then let's skip it. And if
Well, I
everybody,
mean, you can't.
knows, then
You're not
nobody-
going to win anyway. So I mean,
Yeah,
you
you know what? I'll stay out of it because technically, if one of you, that's
Josh, do you
fine.
know the price?
Which one was it?
April Fool and April Fools.
No, I don't know price.
Okay, we'll do that one.
Yeah, let's do it.
So going package price.
Yeah, package price.
Yeah,
What?
So I get a little bit of a preamble. I think I tell a little preamble. So, Drew, you had posted like you're going all in on AIs, right? That was your April Fool's joke. So I just it was obviously an April Fool's joke. So I just wrote AprilFools.com.
Yeah.
Okay, I've had that name just like I think I've had it for like more than 10 years.
I sold you AprilFool.com.
No, you sold me both.
Oh, I did. Okay.
Yeah, in that Blue Cora portfolio, which by the way,
yeah.
has crushed. And I'm
Well,
gonna
last
come
time
back.
you were on, we talked about another name that you sold from that portfolio. In fact,
I'm gonna give you props for that in a minute. I'll come back to it. So so I just randomly, so full circle, right? Like you sold me the name. I just wrote that because it's an April Fool's joke, and then somebody hit the bin on both those. Okay, so go ahead. What's the guess?
okay.
All right, so it's the package, you two. I think I know what they
God.
sold for.
I think
so
I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose this. I know it.
know if I 100% remember, but I feel like I get, it's fine.
Ready? Click.
Oh my gosh! What?
But Josh is going to get the point here. Josh is definitely getting the point. I was going to be at 20K, by the way. So
On April Fool and April Fools?
yeah. All right. Josh was 22,000. Wait, Josh was 22,000. Drew was, what were you? You were like 149,000?
169.
169.
Which was down from my previous 175 that I initially put.
Yeah, I thought it was like 20. I thought it was like 15 and 5 or something. But go ahead, Braden.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was 15 and 5.
Yeah,
so it was 20 grand.
Yeah.
For AprilFools.com, you had it at 15?
I've had it for like 10 years or 11 years or something. And
are you kidding me?
And at zero interest.
I would have paid you more than that. I thought you paid more than that to buy the names in the first.
No. So this portfolio was like, I'd have to look up my notes, but like I wanted to pay like 60 grand for this portfolio. It had lobby.com in it. This is many years ago when that's, when it was, everybody saw this name. So it wasn't like it was
we had already gone out and tried to sell individually these names for 6 months. And then they basically said, look, I don't remember the details and I probably can't speak out of class, but they had their own reasons why they said, okay, we've given it the runway that we, allocated.
You worked it. I mean, to investors, right? And so
time to sell the package. And so we went out, we talked to a bunch of investors. And
the only good name that was left was Lobby. Only like one word.com.
Yeah.
Name. And so I offered 60 grand for it and they wouldn't take it because you said like you have to take the other like 25 names. Like that's what they want to sell a whole set.
Yeah.
And it was 79,000. Like that was the bottom line. And I went back and forth. I didn't want to pay it. And you're like, just take them. I'm like, these are our shit names. I don't want those other names. And you're like, no, they're decent. Just take them. And so eventually I was like, fine, I'll take them. And I signed like, basically like 60 grand a lobby or something, or 70 grand a lobby. And then like $500 or $1,000 per name I attributed to each of the others. So April Fool and April Fools were like $500 to $1,000 each, attributed purchase value. And anyways, like 2 weeks later, I sold, I think it was hobbymarket.com for a few $1,000s, and then another one, loveletter.com for 35 grand came out of that, and dearmom.com. Like, and last time I talked, last show I was on, it was e-cash.com.
That's right.
Which I sold for 15 G's. So, like, I have made all my money back and then some. I still have lobby, but I'm already in the green, in the black, on that portfolio, just selling all these small names that I didn't want in the first place. And so April Fool and April Fools came out of that portfolio.
Damn.
So
I remember when you sold Love Letter as well. E-Cash has actually got a pretty solid usage as well. That's a good little portfolio.
But back then,
I sold the same day he sold e-cash.com. I sold ecash.net to the same people.
Really?
They bought ecash.com, ecash.net, ecash.org, ecash. Everything, it seems like.
And what'd you sell ecash.net for?
I don't remember. I think $5,000, $6,000, something like that.
With the dash, without?
It's Bitcoin. It was a Bitcoin Foundation.
Yeah, Bitcoin Foundation is one that bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it forwards to the Bitcoin.
Well, forwards to Bitcoin.org, right?
Yeah. To the white paper.
Yeah, which isn't necessarily the Bitcoin Foundation. I can't remember who controls that now.
Yeah.
It could be, but I don't remember who controls it.
I bought that portfolio 8 years ago.
Yeah, ecash.net I sold for $5,000 roughly.
So we got a tie, huh? We got a tie, JT.
We have a 3-way tie. So between you three. So the way we're going to break this is I'm going to mention a name that sold on NameJet that we talked about previously. You guys need to let me know if you were participating in that auction. OMAI.com. OMAI.
Yeah, I was in that.
I was in it too.
All right. Then hold on.
I went for a lot of money.
What about autorent.com? Autorent. Anybody in that one?
No, I didn't even know about it.
All right, Drew, you good on that one? You were not in that one?
No, I definitely was not in that one.
Perfect. So autorent.com, I believe it was on a NameJet list. So we talked about it on a show. And then it sold. Either that or ventures.org. Were you guys in ventures.org?
No.
Which one would you guys rather do? Autorent.com or ventures.org?
Ventures.org.
All right, let's do that. Were you guys good? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Level playing field. All right. Ventures.org. Go ahead, put a number. We're going to get to a winner here.
Okay, so somebody overpaid for ventures.org.
Yeah, somebody overpaid for ventures.org. But
don't look it up, though. Like, don't look it up just because, you know.
No.
Just flip it. We don't give out swag anyway. We just say we do.
Oh, it's just a question of by how much, Braden? By how much? Did they really overpay or just a little bit?
Let's go. Let's see it. All right, flip it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, so here we go. We got Drew at 2,369. We've got Braden at 8,500, and we've got Josh at $12,111. The winner of today's domain game, based on the closest to the pin for ventures.org, is Braden Pollock and the Archduke of Calabasas.
What do you go for?
Sold for $6,350. $6,300.
I'll tell you what, these .orgs are making a comeback. I'm seeing a lot of strong action in .org.
Well, think about that, right? That's the whole.
Who called it comeback?
Been here for years, yeah. So yep, you're looking at that's a wholesale price of a solid one-word.org on NameJet, right? So I mean that's pretty healthy. So
yeah, that is. That's pretty impressive.
And Braden wins the domain game. Yeah.
Again.
Good job. Again and again. Tang again and again. All right, well, good stuff. So that's the domain game.
Swag here. Oh, sorry, wrong swag.
Hey, shout out to Darpin. You know what I'm saying? It's all good.
All right, now
But,
we gotta pause. We gotta pause Braden for a month.
Braden just got disassociated.
Braden just got a yellow card.
What did I do?
No, I'm just playing, man. We had a call with DARPA a couple, literally 2 weeks ago. I got nothing. We got a lot of love for them and everything they're doing over there.
Not competitive.
No, I know. It's not, it's just you talk about anybody else's swag. So
no, it's legit. We could talk about swag, like not receiving swag here on DomainSherpa, because we do not receive swag. I mean,
all right, Josh, I got you. What are you doing tonight, Josh? We'll grab dinner. I'll bring you.
The swag is fake news. It's fake news.
I'll bring you a hoodie, Josh. I promise, Josh.
Yo, but seriously, straight up, when I come in May, I want some swag. I want some cool swag. We need some.
Wait, you're coming in May?
Yeah,
I didn't.
See, look,
no, but I won't be up by you. We're gonna be in Miami.
He doesn't get it. Even he doesn't get it, and he pays for it.
Yeah.
See,
well, it's his shipping to Europe is a pain, man. You know, those tariffs are for real, dude.
Well, yeah. Can we come back to the tariffs? It's like everybody's bitching and moaning, but let me tell you something. As an American who lives in Europe, trying to buy things from America to bring into Europe is it's basically just an absolute no-go, because they don't call it a tariff, but they put 9 different little stupid taxes on it, and you end up paying 25% in VAT and a bunch of other bullshit. You end up somewhere between 20 and 35% by the time you get something to your door in Europe from America. So it really is people are just overreacting because they don't understand.
I remember one time we were at a conference in Vegas, and you were leaving. This is when you lived in Panama, and you're walking out, and you had these.
I know, full suitcases.
So much you giant bags that you could.
And that was before I even had kids. I didn't even have kids yet, and it was my wife and I. We'd be rolling with 6 giant suitcases.
You had You had porters helping you. I was like, what are you like? Is this gonna be like
Sherpas,
a wagon trip?
Sherpas.
Are you leaving for 6 months with trunks? What is and you're like, I just went to Costco. I can't get this shit back in Panama. It was so funny.
Oh, dude!
So much
that was the thing. I remember the one time. Yeah, we're in Vegas.
Costco with the Whole Foods.
Dude, he'd have literally a hotel room dedicated to just all this luggage that's just open with all this stuff. You're thinking he's smuggling blue jeans into Russia. You know what I'm saying? It was yo, this is crazy. He's got Levi's and Marlboros and a bunch of fucking Beastie Boys CDs. You know, it's what's going on? Anyway, yeah, that's what's up. So, some more swag. And Josh, I got you, man. Just swing by the house, dude. Come by today. You know what I'm saying? Let's, we'll grab dinner, man. It's all good. Hit me up.
We got to do that soon.
I mean, I'm around tonight, maybe Thursday too, actually too. So, but anyway, but holla, we'll talk post show.
MediaOptions is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, MediaOptions offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. MediaOptions believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
All right. Well, that's what's good. Congratulations, Braden. Great job. Let's go into NameJetGonnaJet. We literally only have about maybe 20, 30 minutes tops. So let's make some moves here. Let's pull up the list. Josh, we're going to start with you to go ahead and tell us what you like and what you don't like. I'm going to pull it up over on my end. Has everybody got a copy? Everybody know? Do I need to post it in the chat or anything?
Pulling it up right now. All right.
Good.
All good.
All right.
I guess pickle.org.
I mean, I put that on
pickle.org, especially after pickle.com just sold. And oh yeah, what do you think about that? Pickle.com, by the way. You think that
I love the name. I don't know what he paid for it, but I love the name.
I was talking to Josh about this. We have a sneaky suspicion that they got a steal on pickle.com. They bought it from Pickle Design, a company that had bought it, but I'm concerned that they may have paid low 6 figures for that or something like that, which is obviously ridiculous. So you domain hunters failed on that one, I think. But
You domain
pickle.org.
hunter. We
Huh.
What you
I'm
mean,
not-
you?
I'm not the big hunter. You guys know who you are.
I like that as like the name of a reality show about hunting.
I love pickle.org as well. I feel like that's a good name. It's been priced at like 15K for a really long time. So I don't know if it's now like, I don't know, just like an old name that's expiring or something. I
that's
don't know
what it
this-
looks like, and we're about 2 weeks out from, so I think it's, might actually go. GPT was one that was on last week, but that's gone. Like,
That
it got
got renewed.
renewed. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk
Yeah.
about it quick.
I think pickle.org will probably go for like around that 5K range as well. And if it went for like 5K though, I think I would prefer to own pickle.org at 5K than like ventures.org at 6,900, for example.
Sure. I think Pickle's
so-
going to go for more, actually. And I think especially because you do have pickle.com that just sold. Pickleball is huge. I think it's a cool name. It's a cool brand.
Pickle will go for more than 5.
Can you guys stop, please?
Sorry.
I'm buying that name.
With the GPT. Drew didn't even want to talk about it. I was like, "What do you think?" And he's like, "I don't know. It's cool, I guess." And I'm like, "You motherfucker!" Like, I know it's like, I know it's just because you want to bid on it, and you're now just gonna just literally just try to avoid the whole like you look like Matrix.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. It's not that good.
Yeah, it's like.
So internetsales.com, I feel like it was like Frank Schilling's name, right? It just like there's something about that. There's something about that
That's
name.
a friend. Well, he had domainnames.com, and
like domain name
Well,
sales.
domain name sales was his company first.
Yeah.
okay, I got you.
Yeah. So that one kind of like resonates, but it's not that valuable. I'll talk about one that I do like. Is again energetic.org. It's a cool name. I think that one is going to go a little cheaper, like probably like I would want to be like under 2K on that name. But if you can get it under 2K, I think it's a really cool name.
All right, great. So, all right. All right. What about you, Braden? What do you think? What do you like? What don't you like?
Just first of all, I think pickle.org will get renewed. Just putting that out there. I don't think it's going to expire.
Get your hopes up is what he's saying.
OEM parts. I think that's a decent name.
Does everybody know what OEM
energetic.org, because I like
original equipment manufacturer.
Yeah.
it's and it's not just cars, it's anything.
Everything.
It's supposed to like aftermarket, like unofficial parts. It's like the original parts.
Yeah.
And so it's a big thing, particularly in cars, but in everything. And then I like energetic.org.
All right.
So I like them one-word.orgs. But it'll probably go too high. So
all right. That's it.
What I like.
Okay.
I'm leaving
right.
a few.
Anything you particularly don't like, or you think will be overvalued on NameJet that you will avoid? Because
waitresses is a weird. I don't know what you're gonna do with that.
Okay, that's fair.
Like waitress, I suppose could be something, but waitresses,
yeah,
it's weird. I mean, I guess it could be a porn site, but everything could be a porn site.
Yeah.
Vegas Trip. It looks like Vegas Strip. Vegas.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting one. I thought, because it looks like Vegas Strip, but it's actually Vegas Trip. Vegas Trip is a thing, like a Vegas trip,
Which is a thing. Yeah,
it's also very specific.
It's a little weird.
All right, well, all good. That's two that you don't like. We can push it to Drew now and see what he thinks. Drew, what about you, man? What do you like? What don't you like?
I think the only name on here that I really like is Casa Grande.
That's a you kind of name.
Yeah.
We left it. We left it for Drew.
I like pickle.org for all the reasons, but that's pretty much it. I mean, like Sweet Creations, that could be a really nice name. You know, that space is a little saturated, so
That's a porn site too.
the buyer for that is probably small. Like, you know what I mean? Like you've got Tasty, which by the way, this is actually a worthy discussion. What's that called? What's the company called? Edible Arrangements?
Yeah.
So Edible Arrangements, you know, it tells you like it's like it looks like an arrangement of flowers, but it's like fruit and edible stuff. Okay. I always kind of liked that. I always thought Edible Arrangements was a kind of a cool idea. You know, it was like a brand, it's a cool idea. It was a good business. It turned into a big business. Well, these mofos just launched, and it's literally from Edible Arrangements. They just launched edibles.com, which I'd love to know what they paid for that. I mean, I had my fingers on that name a couple times, but they launched. I think I actually sold them edibles.org moons ago, like a decade ago. But anyways, they launched edibles.com, and it's like I don't even know how they're doing it, but it seemed to be a nationwide cannabis edibles marketplace. And you can go on there and buy you some cannabis edibles drinks, cannabis edibles gummies, cannabis edibles chewing gum. Yeah, I mean, you name it. They got you. You like edibles? They got you. So, anyways, shout out to Edible Arrangements for, you know, getting ahead of the curve and you know, supplying all of America's underage children with cannabis edibles. Well
they
done.
do ask for age verification.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And where you live.
Yeah, people under 21 years old don't know how to click yes.
Wait,
Fair enough.
so they created a whole new they're not associating themselves with
Are you shocked by that? But yes, it is wholly owned by them. It's wholly owned by Edible Arrangements.
I saw that too.
incredible.
I feel like they're like, well, we should be edibles too, and then it's like, well, then we'll be cannabis edibles, and then they were like, fuck it,
Yeah, right. Like, let's go.
can't beat them, join them.
100%.
People are looking. They're like, people keep coming to us for looking for edibles anyway, right?
Yeah.
Edible arrangements. The people looking for edibles. We should buy edibles. Now
I mean,
all this people looking for cannabis.
It's kind of like GameStop. It's like, yeah, nobody really cares about our fucking strawberry baskets anymore, but maybe we should just lean into this cannabis wave.
Well, I mean, I think they probably identified their audience. They're like, well, people keep coming to us for cannabis.
Yeah.
So because we're edible arrangements or edible.
Yeah, it turns out their best day of the year used to be 420.
Yeah. Now they're just
right. We're like, let's just sell them what they're looking for.
Exactly.
And no, I mean, hey, it's cool.
Actually, JT, do a little biz dev. Reach out, see if we can get somebody from Edible Arrangements to come on and talk about edibles.com.
All right.
That'd be a great conversation to have.
It would be.
All right. Yep. Made a note. Reach out.
I think they actually also own some other, I don't remember offhand, and we don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but I if I remember correctly, I think they actually do own a bunch of good domains or several good domains.
Well, they own at least one. So,
yep.
All right. Well, good stuff. So, all right. So is that all?
While you're at it, you can sell them fruitbasket.com.
You have fruitbasket.com?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well,
like, you still on that? We off that.
Yeah, we don't do fruit baskets anymore.
They're like, we'll take weedbasket.com.
Yeah, fruit basket? Like, does that come with THC?
Weed basket. All right. Well, that's what's good. All right. Well, I think we covered a lot of the names on here. So that's what's up. Two names that didn't get mentioned that I like that I guess we could save them and talk about them another time, but whatever. I think diggity.com is kind of cool.
Yo,
Nobody likes diggity.
It ain't the bomb diggity.
No diggity. No diggity. Got five.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Edibles.com was owned in the world.com portfolio, which I thought they never sold anything. because that whole portfolio was kind of weird. They stripped off all the MX record rights, and it was weird.
I remember they wanted to borrow. I remember they wanted to borrow a bunch of cash a while ago and put up a bunch of names as collateral. So maybe they did now.
They sell names. I mean, they sell at high prices, but
yeah, I thought they were kind of like Kevin Ham doing primarily like joint ventures, equity deals, but they never really turned over names.
No, World does sell names.
Okay.
What an insane name that is. World.com. Shit.
Ah, so good. So good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
World.co. Well, how high is that going to go?
What's that?
But the .co probably's got some kind of premium pricing or some bullshit on it.
I don't know, actually. But it's at...
What, is that an auction?
Yeah, it's on auction.
World.co.
Yep.
Where? GoDaddy?
Catched. I mean, it was already going to go high, but now that I mentioned it, it's going to blow up.
Yeah.
Is it on the end of, is there like a time? So it's an auction, not just a listing?
It's got like a week to go.
God, I hate it when like good names go to Sav and Catched. Just hate it.
I'm not joking. This is the first time I've heard of Catched. I didn't even know Catched was I've never seen this website.
You've never heard of Catched?
Never.
A little bit. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful.
Now you have. I'm glad I could
Catched.
bring you some domain industry knowledge.
Interesting.
My .co bags are so heavy though. Oh.
I know. I've got strong .cos. And, they just.
Oh God, you're gonna make me buy this shit. Oh.
No, it's gonna go too high.
I mean, what's too high? Like, what's too high?
I mean, it's
a unique offering because World.com is effectively not for sale, and if it is for sale, it's tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars. So,
yeah, like that's an easy 10 grand. I'd drop 10 grand on World.com.
Oh yeah, 10 for sure, but it won't go for 10. It'll go for 20, 25.
Yeah,
not
it's
on
going to go higher than.
Maybe not on Catch because I didn't even know it existed until right now.
Yeah, except now we're talking about it. So now everybody knows it exists.
True.
There's going to be some people.
Catch, if you're listening, we want a sponsorship because we just brought you like probably $20,000 just in this one auction.
I've got a bunch of AIs or .cos also.
Yeah. I like .co. Is it, .xyz.co. These are really the only two I've ever kind of had any relationship to. And I like them.
Got 30 of them. But some of them it's because I got the .com and so I just picked it up as a, defensively.
My problem with searching for .co is if you search for .co, it automatically picks up all the .coms. So I can't really search for .co in my inventory.
What? You don't have
after Nick?
You don't have in your inventory?
Yeah.
Like in your spreadsheet or like
what?
CRM?
Yeah, in my spreadsheet.
Wait,
you don't have a TLD column?
Of course we do. What are you talking about?
Talk to this guy.
Of course we do. What do you mean? You're talking about our inventory? Of course we have.
Yeah. Find me the list of all of our .co domains.
Dude, I mean,
you should have it.
We do. We have a TLD filter. Dude, come on, man. Seriously?
You have to have a TLD filter.
Of course we do. Come on, bruh.
You've learned two things today.
Catch.com is the SEO domains guys. They're the guys that have own Catch.com.
Josh, what's your best .co? Drew, same question.
My best .co?
Yeah.
I have so many.
Oh, you don't know because you can't.
You can see. I just filtered the list. Go look at the list literally right now in real time. I just filtered it by .co, man.
All right, yeah, look, there we go. Now I can actually look. All right. Man, we got some great .cos.
There, I just emailed you the whole list as well. The time that it took you to complain that we can't do it.
Josh, what's yours?
So we got the German version. We own Welt.co, which is world.co in German, Welt.co.
Probably wise.co.
Ah, solid.
We've got pink.co. I like that name.
Wise.co. Just let me go. I'm the one that people don't realize this. I didn't just sell Wise.com to TransferWise. I literally presented to the board, presented to the CEO, and convinced them because they had come to me looking for a name. They were going to rebrand. And I said, you're out of your mind. People love TransferWise. And they said, well, but we don't want to be known as just wire transfers. And I said, okay, but you built up all this goodwill. You should stick with Wise. And I said, let's go get Wise.com. And it was owned by Symantec. And,
Yeah, I remember.
They were like, ooh, that could work, blah, blah, blah. I had one guy internally. He was my internal champion. He liked the idea. He said, can you pitch this to the board? I pitched it to the CEO. I pitched it to the board. They all got on board. They said, let's go. And we went and negotiated with Symantec. It took a long time. I had to make some friends over there, and I got in good. And we made a deal, and it was an amazing deal. Then they rebranded the whole company.
Yeah. Well, if you want, you can give him wise.co as well. Happy for you to do it. It's
okay. So, anyways, I've got. Let's see. My favorite .co. We got bees.co. We got yellow.co, nature.co.
Yellow is your best one.
Yeah, I mean, I used to own yellow.com. I sold that for millions.
Wait, you like yellow.co better than pink.co?
Yeah, we got pink.co also.
Yeah.
We got beekeeper, nature, sunset, gram. Gram is a big one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Those are nice.
Beekeepers are
We got playground.co.
we have doge.co.
Darmesh.
We got doge.co. Bullrun.co. Biometric.co.
I have a lot as well.
We got Djibouti. Djibouti.co.
Djibouti.
Djibouti. Do you know what the capital of Djibouti
What's your
is?
best one? What's your best one, Braden?
Capital of Djibouti is Djibouti.
Shake your booty.
So I've got my most valuable is probably sex.co. SEX.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
But my favorite's probably Tiger. Tiger.
Oh yeah, I remember you got that one too.
That's a great name.
Bangers.
We
Bangers.
got Fling, Auto Market, Reinsurance, Second Hand. Wiz.co is a nice one.
That's a good one.
Now that you said Tiger, though, I can't.
Strain.co.
I can't like any other name now. Now that you said Tiger.co,
because Tiger's good, right?
That's just super cool. I like that a lot.
Trippy. Blood Test.
Can't say Trippy.
Booster.
Nice. Just
Oh, we have Mamba. Mamba.co.
I mean, we got a lot. I'm just kidding. I mean, we got ton. Puro, Mary Jane, Naranja, which is orange. Mamba.
It was about your favorite or your best one. It's
Right. And then it was like, we don't have any because I can't filter the list. And then he's like, now that the list is filtered, let me say them all.
Kiwi.co, which is shocking to me because there's actually a company called KiwiCo.
Oh, dude.
Is it
Why are we not?
an insurance company or something?
Where's Chris at, man? What's Chris doing?
I think I asked him to contact him once. I don't know what happened.
Kiwi.com is somebody, right?
Put that on the list.
Kiwi.com is
oh yeah, travel. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a booking engine.
Yeah, we got a really nice list of these.
I mean, that's great when you can filter them in seconds and see them all. It's pretty cool. All right, so that
I think Sunset is probably my favorite. I like Nature too, nature.co.
Didn't sunset.com recently sell?
I sold it.
So that's a yes.
Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah. Tiger.co.
Oh, and I've got yellow.co and amarillo, which is yellow in Spanish.
And that's not very meaningful. Just saying. Can we move on from?
I mean, I'm ready when you are.
Rabbit hole. I didn't think it was.
All right, let's go. Moving on.
What's next? Is there a moderator here?
There used to be. Time ago. All right. Well, look, that was the NameJetGonnaJet segment. So thank you. Big shout out to NameJet. You can go to our site, go to DomainSherpa.com, go to the page for this particular episode. download the spreadsheet. That'll give you a bunch of information on the domains if you have any interest. We don't get any affiliate revenue, so it's just at your, not financial advice, but happy to help if it helps. So
Maximus.co.
he's going to keep going.
I got the .org.
Nice. I like both of those.
Maximus?
Maximus. Extract my new AKA is going to be Extracticus Maximus.
Extracticus Max extraction, baby. Max extraction. That's what they're on.
Extracticus Maximus.
All right, we're good.
That's it. We're good.
All right. Hey, one more round the horn because we're about to shut it down. But appreciate you guys. But real quick before we go, Drew, I think you've covered all the bases you need to cover. But if you have anything else you want to say, now would be the time.
The only thing to fear is fear itself.
Oh, there we go. That's it.
Deep.
Very good. Josh, what about you, man? What's good? When's your next pickleball tournament? What else is happening? What's up?
No, all good, man. Like, same old. Go to dnx.com. I'll make all your dreams come true.
That's it. DNX.
I mean, Josh made 2 people's dreams come true on this show while we were here. Braden's dream came true buying a name, and Merlin's dream came true by underselling a name.
There we go. X, go and give it to you.
Well, you know what? I'm just trying to get some of that NFT money back
That's it.
from his. What was that? Megasaurus.
Shout out Merlin, newlywed. Congratulations. Sorry to the bride.
Ouch.
We love you, Merlin.
Oh man. X gonna give it to you. All right, great. DNX.com. Check it out. All right, Braden, anything else on your end?
Yeah, on the 23rd, if you are in or around LA, we have our SoCal domainer meetup, which I do occasionally, irregularly. But it's gonna be in downtown LA at the Wayfair downtown LA bar, the Hilton.
Sponsored by D3.
D3 is gonna they're gonna sponsor it. So, and they're gonna talk a little about their Domain 5 blueprint.
Nice.
Anyway, they're paying, and so if anybody wants to come, I tweeted the link to register. So go ahead and check out my tweet and register, and everyone's welcome.
We'll throw it.
And then the 25th, I'm on a plane to Stockholm for Nordic Domain Days.
Nice. Billy, in the show notes, throw the link to the SoCal meetup on the 23rd and Nordic Domain Days. When is that? Like the 27th?
26th or 27th it starts.
Very
Not
cool.
sure.
Stockholm.
In Stockholm, Sweden.
Let's go.
Starts on 27th. Sunday the 27th.
All right. Well, good stuff. Well, safe travels for all of that. In the meantime, thank you for being here. Josh, as always, as well. Thank you for being here. And Drew, thank you for being here and sharing how you feel about everything. Always appreciate it. And to the audience, guys, for those of you
I just noticed a little a nice arbitrage for those who want to go check out dnx.com. You can get panic.org mad cheap, which could ride on the whole Trump panicking party thing. So for all you degen domainers, you can pick up panic.org and dnx.com for very little.
Panic at the
It's perfect for the panic token that's coming out.
That's it.
Exactly.
Panic token, baby.
Oh yeah, let's go. Panic token. I'm in on panic token. Always down for a little.
What was a band in the 90s?
Well, there's Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, Panic at the Disco.
And then there's Widespread Panic also.
Oh, I was thinking of Widespread Panic.
Yeah. So both bands with the name Panic in it. And but it's all good, man. It's all good. So yeah, and to the audience, for the 4 or 5 of you that have stuck this out this far, thank you so much.
Right.
Oh wow, we got 4 or 5 this time. Last time it was 1.
Right. Thanks to both of you.
Thanks to the 2 of you. It is
The panel is now bigger than the audience.
Oh man, good stuff. But no, hey, without you guys, there is no us. We say it on every show. Thank you so much. We do really, really appreciate it. But look, as you saw, look, Dooner hit us up, had a question, we addressed it, we went off on it, and and I would hope that that's at least insightful. And if nothing else, get some folks to do a little bit of research, do a little bit of education, do a little bit of thinking on topics, and and hopefully it helps to shift perspective, or at least get you started on a path to enlightenment and understanding. And if nothing else, hopefully it's at least entertaining. And so yeah, we're not hard to find. Hit us up, let us know, good, bad, ugly questions, comments, or otherwise. Holler at your boys. Otherwise, we will catch everybody next time here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Peace out, everybody. Love you all.